We come towards the end of the lesson on a very important topic as sex determination and the factors that govern sex determination in the next offspring. Who do you think are all responsible for determination of sex? Is it only the genes? No. Have a look at this chart. Sometimes it could be genotypic related, which is in turn related to sex chromosomes and the ratio in which the sex chromosomes are present to the other chromosomes or the autosomes. Whereas in some cases, it could be the temperature, environmental factors like temperature, location, where does that zygote land? Or in some individuals, like snails, they have the capacity to change their gender. So altogether, other than genotype, gene has nothing to do with that gender control at that point. So it can either be genotypic or it could be environmental factors. Let us see how the sex determination occurs in humans. In humans, we regard the sex chromosomes or we name them as X and Y. What is sex determination? It is to determine whether the developing embryo is a male or a female. Means whether the developing embryo will give rise to a girl child or a boy child. Who determines it? It is a pair of sex chromosomes. In our body, in humans, we have 23 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes. 22 pairs are autosomes or body chromosomes. We get it from our parents, and one is sex chromosome. In females, the sex chromosomes are XX, and in males, it is XY. And technically or genotypically, it is the father whose sperm determines whether the gender of a child will be male or female. Have a look at this illustration. What we see over here, a male child and a female. Okay. Now a male will give rise at maturity, it will give rise to sperms which in turn would carry either X or Y. Okay, whereas females at maturity give rise to ova which always has X chromosome. Okay, now see this condition. When a sperm carrying X chromosome fuses with the ova having X chromosome, the resulting is XX and the resulting is a female. Okay, as against the other condition where we see a sperm carrying Y chromosome fuses with the ova having X chromosome, the resulting is XY and thus that's a male. So now I want you to think, in society so far it is women who is, even today at times being cursed or at times being given names to give rise to a child, daughter. But genetically, do you really now feel that it is in her hands whether the upcoming child would be a girl or a boy? And also, although genetics says it is father, but morally and physically and mentally, do you really feel that father can decide, okay, now let the sperm with X chromosome fuse with the ova with X chromosome or vice versa? No. So ideally, it is destiny which actually gives the progeny either as a daughter or as a son. So it's better we leave it to nature. Genotypic sex determination in birds. One more example. In birds, the chromosomes are tagged as Z and W. Okay. Over here, the female chromosomes are different, Z and W, and the male chromosomes are same, ZZ. So genotypically, who determines the gender of the bird in birds? Females. Because the females can either have an egg which has Z chromosome or give rise to an egg which has W chromosome. And if the Z and the W fuse, it would be a female. And if the Z and the Z fuse, it would be a male bird. See, genotypic sex determination in fruit fly. This is really interesting. Fruit fly has sex chromosomes, X and Y, but they really do not matter. What matters is the ratio in which they are present to the autosomes. This ratio over here is very, 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 very important. Okay. Now let's see how. Take this condition. XX, both sex chromosomes are X. So 2 AA autosomes 2, the ratio is 1. It's a female fly. Now X and Y, the ratio is 0.5. It's a male fly. Interesting, isn't it? So that's how the fruit flies work. One more condition, environmental condition, that actually determines whether the gender will be a male or a female. Look at this example, alligators and crocodiles. The temperature at which the eggs are incubated. If the eggs are incubated at high temperature, it's a female. If the eggs are incubated at low temperature, it's a male. Same thing happens with a turtle. If the incubation of eggs happens above 32 degrees Celsius, it is a female, and below 28 degrees Celsius, it's a male. Interesting, isn't it? Now, after going through sex determination and understanding X and Y and their combination giving rise to a male or a daughter, or a son, do you really feel that our blood group, the blood group that you have, comes down through your parents? Have a look at it in the next slide. Something to know more about your blood group, alleles. Okay, all of you might be wondering, I got a particular blood group. Does it comes down from my parents? Indeed, it does. You want to check how? The blood group in humans has three alleles. Okay, if you remember A, AB, O. The alleles are, it is represented as in this fashion, where I raised to capital A, I raised to capital B, I raised to, ideally they don't put anything over here, which means it's O, but for you to understand, I have mentioned it this way. Okay, but the ideal way of writing the third allele is only small I. In blood group A and B, both the alleles co-dominate, coexist. Okay, they exist, they dominate each other. Nobody is recessive on that front, and that is how the blood group AB is being created. Whereas in blood group O allele, I is a recessive one. Let us see, look at the table over here to help you understand what the genotype is and what actually blood type you are. And you can go ahead and compare your blood group type. Now again, there is one thing to remember. If I say my blood group is A, then there is a probability that the genotype of my blood group, depending upon what the genotype of my parents is, could be AA, or it could be A and 0 as in O. Similarly, for blood group B, a person having blood group B, his parents may be BB, both the parents is BB, or B and O, or recessive one. Now see the third one, which is AB. See the genotype of it? Yes. What do you have? A and B co-dominate, they dominate each other, so they will independently be there together and form a different blood group, AB. Whereas for O, everything is recessive. Okay, but do you know that AB is a universal recipient and O is a universal donor? It's really interesting if you go ahead and check out what actually are the various blood groups that you have in your family.